Okay, we're at Leeds Town Council meeting on Wednesday, January 9th, 2013. It's 7:02 p.m. I'd like to welcome the public that's here. I'd like to welcome council members that are here. And starting with that, let's go through roll call. I'll start with myself. Alan Roberts.
Anselm Frank Loico.
Joe specifically told me that he was out of town. He would be out of town this week. I have not heard anything from Nate Blake. We do have a quorum to conduct business tonight. On the agenda, you'll notice an item number 2. That's an item that is up for negotiation, whether you want to maintain that on an agenda. Other municipalities have that. That doesn't mean that Leeds has to, but
Right.
that's an item that. Okay, we'll go right to item number 2, which is an invocation. I'll give that.
Okay.
Our Father in heaven, we come before Thee this night at a Leeds Town Council meeting with gratitude in our hearts for the opportunities we have to live in this land, to live in this town, to be the benefits of the freedoms that we have. We pray for Thy guidance in the direction that we go this night, and that Thy watchful eye will be over us and those who live within the town of Leeds. These things we ask in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Item number 3, Angie, would you lead us in a pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
You think you have enough seats tonight?
It might get crowded, Frank.
I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
It kind of has been a long day. Okay, item number 4, looking at declaration of abstentions or conflicts with tonight's agenda. Are there any from council members?
I guess it'd be an interpretation. Since I work for the college and doing the resolution, do we see that as being a conflict?
On which item?
The resolution.
Resolution about Dixie's name.
Okay, so 8A is what you're referring to on the agenda.
Hey,
Hey, Peter. How do we answer that question?
you're not interrupting.
Yeah.
Or were you talking about the one about Dixie?
Okay, Frank, I've noted that disclosure of a potential conflict where you work for the college.
Oh, okay, okay.
But you can handle that, when we get to that item, you still handle that. I would remind the public and the council that a conflict of interest is if there's any type of monetary gain to yourself or family or something that's directly related to you.
Right.
And that's how we look at
Okay.
conflicts.
Okay.
So tonight, I'm looking at a consent agenda, I shouldn't say we're looking at a consent agenda, which consists of tonight's agenda. And on this agenda that was posted, it shows 3 meetings of minutes. There's actually a 4th meeting minute there, which was a closed meeting that was held on December 12th. you know, within a regular public meeting.
Right.
So there's two sets of minutes there. One is for the actual public meeting that we had to be into in order to go into the closed meeting. Closed meetings are required to keep minutes. They're very, very limited as to what's written there. The recording itself exists, so. I believe that all 4 of those minutes have been available.
They're in their packets.
Maybe while Frank and Angela are kind of looking over that to double check, wish there was a little bit more public here to help understand. Minutes are regulated very carefully by the state law, by state code of what has to be in minutes for public meetings. Specifically, the agenda is part of those minutes, but times, who was present as far as the body of government that the minutes are for. Sometimes as public, we get a little bit confused that minutes are a word for word or verbatim of what transpired, and that is not the case. State law says that the written portion of what transpired is a summary of what transpired. All minutes are recorded in audio, and that's the verbatim that's available for, public view. The written minutes themselves can summarize what transpired.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it possible that we could add a third name to the signing of the link? So we can call it as probably.
We can look at that. We can discuss that.
Do we need to add it to the agenda for tonight?
Well, I don't know that we can discuss it here because we'll have to get a ruling from the state treasurer on that before we would even start. And that would be just an administrative function, wouldn't have to take place on the council.
I didn't know if it was part of the bylaws.
No.
Where do we stand with this? Have we opened that and closed it?
We have applications. We haven't done anything with the,
So,
those applications were emailed to you and Joe in a packet. We haven't done any further than that.
are we still accepting applications?
No, not off from that particular posting there. If we were to open it back up, our policies and procedures say that we have to open a position for a minimum of 3 days. We could open it back up if you felt that that was necessary, because we've not reviewed any of those applications at all. And there were, seemed like 65, 66 applications that we received on that. What Angie was asking about was the deputy clerk recorder position that is vacant right now. while they're still reviewing those, the three that are in the public. Frank mentioned earlier, when he first came in, that the college is still interested in our police car, whether would like to dispose of that or not. My response to Frank is, I'm in favor of that. It really is a liability to the town at this point. I don't know what the future holds as far as the police department, but there's a number of citizens that are in favor of hanging on to it and feel that it has a need sitting out there. I guess that's up for interpretation of individuals, so. You ready on those minutes, Frank?
Yeah,
You okay?
yeah, I thought there would be something in there about, and I don't know, it wasn't really, it was on the budget where we were gonna move some of the highway funds over, but it was, when we were talking about that, was that?
That was on a staff update,
Okay,
and it was on the 18th.
okay, so that's taken care of.
Well, they haven't been moved over. It was just a discussion as a
Okay.
staff update.
Okay, because I just didn't want to miss having that money move over.
Right.
So I didn't know if we needed to do something or not.
We don't.
Okay.
We don't at this point. We need to finalize what that,
Okay,
we had some ideas of where those funds were going.
okay.
We didn't encumber the road impact fees that are getting ready to expire.
That's
We
what I
need
was
to do
talking-
that tonight.
No, we don't need to encumber them through a motion. We can just simply say this is where they're gonna be used
Okay.
and document that.
Okay, because that's what I was talking, okay, so we could do that tonight then.
Yeah, I think that we should do that either in the discussion portion or in the staff update, because I've got some other things that I'd like to throw as far
Okay.
as where those funds.
Wherever you want to put that.
Let's put it under discussion items as far
Okay.
as number D.
Okay.
We call it road impact funds.
I move that we accept tonight's agenda as amended, and the minutes from the 3 meetings on the 2 meetings on the 12th, one on the 18th, and one somewhere else.
And the one that is not written there is that closed meeting on the 12th.
So 3 minutes from the 12th then.
Yes.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Angela Rohr and seconded by Frank Boyko to approve tonight's agenda as amended, heading item D under discussion items, and the meeting minutes from 3 separate minutes from December 12th, 2012, and one from December 18th, 2012. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Motion carried.
There's 2 eyes over here also.
Actually, six eyes.
They just toned it down, and I was excited as
I did that once and I said I got carried away with the carried away with the moment.
Okay, announcements. Is there any announcements from council members?
Is that the trash bill enclosure that I saw in your office?
There are some, yes. Some have been mailed, some have yet to be mailed. Bob is actively engaged in finishing up those, along with our bookkeeper that we're using contractually there with Danae.
Yeah, they'll all be gone by tomorrow morning.
Very good.
Great.
Okay, announcements. on the agenda, planning commission openings. We have a few openings on the planning commission for the town of Leeds. Right now, I would like to read a couple of letters. Some that were here at the planning commission meeting last week may have already heard this. This is dated January 2nd. Mayor Roberts, council members, commissioners, and staff. I'm submitting my resignation as a member of the planning commission effective as of 7 p.m. the 6th day of February 2013, so as not to leave the commission without a chair until the next meeting. It has been an honor to serve with the other commissioners while aiding and assisting the town with planning and zoning issues. The service I have rendered is because of my desire that the rule of law be applied equally for all, regardless of people's station or conditions that cloud the issues. I will continue to advocate for a principled approach to government with respect for the Constitution, the rule of law, and individuals' liberties. I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to serve and wish the current and future members of town staff, elected and appointed officials, the best. Most of all, the best for our town and all of its members. Sincerely, Jared Westhoff. So Jared officially has posted his resignation as being effective at first planning commission meeting at 7 o'clock in February. I received another letter this week. Mayor Roberts and town council members. This was January 7th. I'm writing to inform you that I will be resigning from my current position on the town planning commission. My last day will be the 6th February 2013. Hopefully giving you time to install a new member. I've been on the commission for several years and feel it is time for new individuals to experience the job. Sincerely, Ray Beal. Another opening that we have is Doug Erdman's position was open. Now these positions on the planning commission are 5-year terms. They stagger. So I'm not sure the exact, I do know Doug's. Doug's slot that he was filling in expires in June of this year, 2013. I'm not sure on the others.
So whoever would be appointed to that position be serving performance.
Yeah, for Doug's position, yes. So it gives some flexibility of citizens that may feel that they have the time or desire for a shorter period of time to fill a position like that. And maybe once they got into it, they would decide to fill another term or something like that. So need to get word out. Right now there are
Do we put an alternate?
we have an alternate, which is Alex Beal, who has not been active recently. So we have Bill Lytle and Diane Burton. And then Alex Beal would be the alternate. So without replacements, that commission will not be able to function as far as conducting business. Okay, 6B, another announcement is business license applications. We've had a few people that have inquired, hey, some have come in looking for applications. We're tweaking the applications a little bit. First thing is updating them for the new year. But there are a couple of, I shouldn't say a couple, there are some areas on there that lead me to wonder why they asked the questions. And I'll use one that comes to the top of my head as an example. They asked if the business is a corporation, which is a legitimate question for a business license. but then it asks to list all principles of that corporation, which, I mean, help me understand what the reason for something like that. To me, that is an unjustified request. I believe that there needs to be that contact individual, whoever's making the application or whoever's responsible, but why in a corporation would you have to go through and list every individual
If they're
position?
incorporated in the state of Utah, that information is critical.
Absolutely it
So,
is. So I just use that as an example. There's a couple of things there that just really need to be cleaned up a little bit. We have intentions of having those applications fully available starting next Monday.
do we have any idea what the other towns in the county? They don't ask for that.
No, they do not. Actually, they ask even a whole lot less than what we ask. Their business applications are quite a bit more refined and streamlined than ours. 6C, another announcement is on February 2nd, we will be having a dog clinic here at Town Hall. I was a little bit apprehensive after last year's when we had 3 staff members who spent quite a bit of the day here last year. That just was not reasonable for that many staff hours to be here for 24 dogs that were licensed. So it will be February 2nd, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. The veterinarian will be here. I think that's important to provide for those individuals who may need some vaccinations. And we should be able to take care of the needs of the town in that 2-hour block.
Thursday the 7th from when to when?
February the 2nd from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. That reminder is in the newsletter that's going out with the trash statement. We'll post that on the website also. Okay, down to, is there any other announcements that council members may have? Okay, moving on to item 7. No, there are no public hearings tonight. Item number 8, we have some action items. In your packet, you'll see a joint resolution. This was submitted originally by Washington County, and a joint resolution is jointly with other municipalities in Washington County that are very much supportive of leaving the word Dixie in Dixie State College's name, however that comes out. The mayors met with the governor about a year ago and had quite a bit of discussion concerning the college and the effect that the college can have in Washington County on keeping people here to receive the education that and the programs that would allow them to stay here. We do have a number of people that have to leave for education purposes because the college is limited on what it can offer. And so there was quite a bit of support that the governor gave to the mayors of the state looking at Dixie becoming a university. Some people in the public may ask, well, what has that got to do with municipalities? It has a great deal to do with the county and the what's the word I'm looking for?
Heritage?
The vitality, I guess, of the county. The college does bring a lot to the table in this area, and it does affect each municipality. So the municipalities are looking at a resolution that simply, as collectively as a group, they can present to the college and the Board of Regents to say, look, these municipalities are in favor. I would have to suppose that that board would very highly consider the surveys that went out also, and the results of that. Frank, you probably can tell us just a little more background on that.
Well, the Sorensen Consulting Company is in the Cox Auditorium tonight at 7 o'clock announcing the results. And I'm going to try 3 names, and I'm trying to get them to tell me what 3 names are, so we would know that just before the vote. Just, I guess, for curiosity. So I just texted one person on it. I guess if I had a minute to call one of them, I could get that information.
I'm not sure, and here again, people don't all think alike, and that's okay. I'm not sure what the driving factor is on not maintaining the word Dixie. That's part of the heritage of this area of Utah. To me, it just makes sense.
I haven't had any Leeds citizens say anything to me about the issue. I do try to read the paper every day, letters to the editor. I'd say probably less than 5% of those, and there's been quite a few published, are against the name Dixie. And they're usually for associations with slavery. And I don't think that really holds true for this area, and the term as it's used here.
I know that you, as far as declaring a conflict, Frank, I would leave it up to you, because we have a council here just barely large enough to hold a quorum. If you abstain from a vote, then there's no sense in even making the motion.
No, I just thought I'd make a call. I could take
Yeah.
a minute to call one of them. Because one of them went to a meeting before the meeting with legislators and trustees, so.
But I'm not sure whether it'll have a bearing, but,
No, it would be kind of nice.
okay,
to know.
yeah,
I mean, just
I don't have a problem. Go ahead and make the call.
what the 3 names are, so.
Dixie State University, Dixie State University, or Dixie State University? I have no idea.
The problem is, I don't know if you noticed, but his jacket, his shirt, I think he's gonna have to change his shirt if he changes the name.
They most definitely will change the name when it becomes a university status. And I can understand Frank's position. As a vice president, it would be hard, because if he looks at a resolution that says, well, yeah, we're in favor of maintaining that word Dixie, then does that give the impression, well, he's a vice president, so, you know, all of the vice presidents and the administration down there are supportive of that. So I can see him being a little bit reluctant.
But his vote here tonight is not gonna change it,
But his vote here tonight is as the,
Public record.
public record. But it's
Yeah.
still not gonna change it.
but it's still as a council, it's still as a council member. He's not sitting on this council as a vice president for the college.
I don't see an issue with it voting on this.
I would agree with that. I don't see any either.
Maybe there is an issue. They'll give him a new shirt. If they change the name.
Either way, he's getting it.
Either way, he's gonna get a new shirt. You're most,
Whether he's given it or invited.
yeah. He probably has to pay for
Either he pays up for it or we all
it.
pay.
Or we all pay
I would suspect that we all pay for that
for it.
in his position there.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is okay.
even if we don't like it, we're still gonna pay
They're gonna
for
pay
it.
for it, I
So, does the town send out notices to those businesses that haven't renewed by a certain date?
They have in the past, and when it comes to business licensing,
Right. Okay.
a general rule of thumb, there are no laws that regulate this part of it as far as sending out a reminder. But as a rule of thumb, usually those reminders will go out first of December in that time frame. The reminders will go out. Most of the other municipalities put a clause in there, or a couple of sentences that specifically say, look, the city may or may not send a renewal notice. It's the business,
Responsibility.
it's their responsibility to make sure that they comply with business licensing.
Okay,
Yes, Frank?
thanks. So, I just wanted to go on record and say, you know, I work at the college, and I'm very supportive of the process that the school has done in hiring a consulting group to come in and get the input from the community. As a citizen, I, as well as many other people, have put their input in. So as a citizen of Leeds, and being a member of the council, you know, I would support this resolution. I'm not doing that in the sense of being part of the college in this role that I'm in. Though I can share with you that consultants were saying that in the high 70s and 80% of the people that filled out the survey numbers, they want the name Dixie in there someplace, so it just basically matches what the resolution is. So whether they come up with having Utah in it, or Dixie State University, or whatever, that is still to be determined. So the main part was the vast majority are wanting the word Dixie in there someplace, and that's what this resolution says. So it doesn't really say any more than that.
Okay.
So you need a motion?
Yes.
I move that we join the joint resolution to include the name Dixie in the new name of the Dixie State College.
I'll second that. I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And thank you to the audience and to the council for their patience to allow me to do a little snooping and find out what the announcement was. It may sound silly, but
No, I appreciate that, Frank. That makes us think that maybe we're not doing a resolution. Well, we would probably give support no matter the direction of the results of the survey.
right.
We're looking at another action item, which is a resolution 2013-02, dealing with the representative for the Administrative Control Board for the Washington County Special Service District Number 2. That's a long name. That's who does the solid waste in Washington County. In 2012, Angela represented the town in that position. Before that, we had our treasurer, Gene Bill, had represented the town for a number of years. The district asked specifically, they want it done by resolution, and they desire that it be an elected official that serve on that position. That's the reason we changed it a year ago. And I spoke with Angela, and she's willing to continue to serve in that position for 2013. I felt I should ask her before the meeting. I didn't want to put her on the spot. Of course, there's not a whole lot of public out there that would have put you on the spot, so in that resolution, I'm going to put Angela Rohr's name in that slot. and we need to do a motion on that. And I'll make that motion that we approve Resolution 2013-02, that assigns Angela Rohr as a Leeds representative for the Administrative Control Board for Washington County Solids Special Service District.
I second.
It's been moved by Alan Roberts and seconded by Frank Boyko to approve resolution number 2013-02.
It's a good thing we should have.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Can't be any. All the others took over.
Sounds good, though, yeah, it's good.
Okay, down on discussion items, number 9. I'm not sure that we don't need a little bit more time to look, this first 9A was the policies and procedures. Last month in December, I brought this up before the council with a draft and asked that you spend a little bit of time looking over that. Some of the changes that I was looking at in the policies and procedures, a lot of them more specifically are, it talks about employees. However, there are a number of areas in there that are the policies and procedures for elected and appointed officials. There never was language that specifically pointed out of appointed or elected officials. I thought it was important that we include that so we understand that we're governed by the same policies and procedures even as elected officials, although we're not employees of the town. And so I really don't want to spend a lot of time, say, in a work form or a work atmosphere tonight dealing with this. I would ask that you go through that document. I plan on putting it on next meeting, looking for some type of action on that. Well, there may be some other areas in there. It's quite an extensive policy and procedures for a small town.
It is.
Any further discussion on that item? Also, you'll see in your packet is a draft cemetery ordinance. That draft that you have in your packet was one that was revised by Darrell Nelson last June.
Right.
Yeah, June.
Didn't he make some more changes though when he came back to council?
He made some other changes. At this point, I think that the council needs to look at this draft that's before us, come to some type of a closure on this. Keep in mind that we operate our cemeteries and we have no rules that govern them, which is not a good position to be in. I mean, this sets at least some foundation rules and a direction to go.
Right.
So this will be another document that I would ask the council to be very prepared.
So how
For our
well
next
does this
meeting.
parallel with other cities?
It's relatively,
Close?
yeah, close to other municipalities, small municipalities.
Some of them have extensive cemetery ordinances, and others have like 2 pages.
Yeah.
And some don't list theirs.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this once last year. I find it a little bit ironic on a cemetery ordinance, which is land, properties, but it's not governed by the same rules as zoning and other land use issues. You know, that have to go through the process of planning commission and that type of thing. The ordinance for cemeteries is an administrative function.
Is there anything that we need to do about the two pioneer cemeteries as far as making plots available? Or do we need to have, some investigation done?
Well, I'd say we'd have to have something done for sure.
I believe that we need to have something also
Currently,
done.
we can't really sell it anyway.
Well, we can, but we don't. The last cemetery plot that was sold was when Hiram was mayor, and that was Troy Sullivan, who specifically desired to be here in town. And if you recall, Hiram contacted each one of us
Right.
individually and was asking. My response to him at that time was, Hiram, that's your call, you're the mayor. But our stand, and I can speak for myself and Frank, for a couple of years, we've been very concerned about those cemeteries not being accurately set up to make sure that we can offer
Yeah.
a proper place for interment.
Because the worst thing to do is be sued by someone when you bury someone on top of someone.
Yeah, we leave ourselves open for liability issues. And it really needs to start with an ordinance that says this is the way that we're gonna conduct our cemeteries, and then to lay each one of them out properly or make sure. I still think it's in the town's best interest to stay out of the historical part of both of those historic cemeteries. There's properties outside of that historical fencing that would allow for burials.
I mean, it seems like I remember a story of a sexton for Leeds who made the decision on the site where to actually put the coffin.
Yeah, not a good practice. On 9C, talking about members' areas of responsibilities, with Joe and Nate not present, I guess just as a reminder maybe for the public, Frank has charge of our roads
Right.
and public works, and Angela is charge of parks and recreation. She also serves, as that resolution showed tonight, on some other committees. Another committee that will be coming up, that up until this time, myself, I've served in that position of what they call the RTEC committee. You have an executive committee and you have an action committee. The executive committees are the mayors, consist of the mayors. The action committees normally consist of either city engineers or a city administrator or someone in public works of those cities. Those RTEC and RTAC organizations will dissolve in June of this year. We have agreed and signed on to be part of the DTAC, which is collectively all of the municipalities here in Washington County. It does offer some better leverage and abilities for even small towns to gather up some funds for road corridor preservation and that type of stuff. So,
What's the detail?
so the DTEC is the executive, and
What's the
that's
D stand for?
Dixie Transportation Executive Committee.
And it's really what, an arm of the MPO, the Municipal Planning Organization, whereas these two are currently an arm of the RPO, Rural Planning Organization.
And then you have a DTAC, which is the action. And that's the position that will probably be looking for a council member to fill that position, starting this year.
I've been attending pretty regularly, so unless somebody else wants to do it, I'll be willing to fill that.
That's good.
I won't argue with that.
Nope. Sorry, mess up.
We'll move on to item 9D that we added, which were talking about the road impact funds. I've had a couple of people in town over the last while, I will say over the last year and a half maybe, that have concerns on some roads that are dirt roads
Right.
that we have here in the town.
We were addressing that.
And because those dirt roads are not part of a roadway that we acknowledge in the town, we could look at impact fees or impact funds supporting doing something
Right.
for an improvement on those roads that wouldn't constitute a maintenance on those roads. It would actually be, an improvement on those that we brought them in on some, minor subdivisions that came in.
We would get some state funds for that. We wouldn't get what we would on fully improved, but we would get a little bit of money for the gravel roads. So, Frank Jackson and Sterling's property, we need to, but we also have up here, on Cactus and on Bonanza Flats, we need to do something there.
Yeah, I know we were all hoping that
Right.
maybe Rick Sant would, of course, this has been going on for a few years. We kind of thought maybe Rick Sant would start implementing his project that will directly affect that. But I think it's in the town's best interest to be proactive on our own and not look, because maybe your Silver Point Estates may not ever develop. But I think that it's our responsibility to
Well,
look at those roads and make them,
if we take those impact fees that we were talking about at the last meeting and get the right base material and the right road material to put in some gravel or finer pieces. But we really need to do all of that before we really go to paving and widening Silver Reef Road.
I agree.
Because we need to go in there and cut the plants back and take care of it with gravel and stuff and have that placed in there. And it needs to be there a while. Peter would agree with me on that, I'm sure. So that we can establish that and then go in and then cut that pavement and then fill that in so that because if we put the new pavement in and we don't put any road base on the side, we're gonna just break off the pieces anyway. So it's almost like it would be silly to go in until we prepare that road. And so, and we need to go around town and do that in several places, just to clean them up and make them look nice. Because we can use a certain type of rock material and do that to protect the roads. Because if we can do that, then when someone pulls off, they're not dropping their tire completely off, putting pressure on the side of the asphalt or the chip and seal, they're coming right onto gravel. So it's safe, if someone has to pull over, it's safer. And it's even better for when parents are dropping their kids off, to not just drop them off and then they're standing in the weeds. When they've got a little bit of right of way, they can just step off and be safe.
Can we
Especially
actually,
walking up and down. A lot of people are walking on Silver Reef Road. And some people, with all-terrain vehicles, that would give them another path to go up that, because that's the only access to get up to Forest Service.
Can we target at least 3 specific areas that
Yes.
we want to look at encumbering these funds for those 3
Yeah.
specific?
There's actually 5 areas that we really need to do. We need to do Jackson's Road, the Sterling Road. We need to do Silver Reef Road, prepare that. And we need to lay some material for the roundabout. That may,
Oak Grove.
it may be ready, but if we can get that settled in there, because that's the one we agreed that we were gonna pave, because that's the bus stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had those speed humps that we were gonna put in, which is separate from that, but we need to get all that road stuff ready for that.
You do know it's not being used as a bus stop anymore?
Oh, it's not.
No, they're going up high desert and using the turnaround because there's now a family with children, and so all the kids are being dropped off there. So it takes some pressure off of needing to do it with school buses.
But we still need to have that up there because we need to have a warning sign to people that you go much further than that. You don't have places to turn around. You go up to, people get stuck with trailers up further. But it would just make it nicer too. That's-
It would clean that up
Yeah.
to have it paved. And I remember our discussion, it's been a long time ago,
Right.
well over a year ago,
Right.
was to not push that clear out to where the town's right-of-way is.
Right.
And Steve Lewis would be happy about it, what he had.
Yeah, with the fire trucks.
Yeah.
That's right, that's the other one.
Okay, those are specific areas that we will,
Yeah.
There was 4,
Document.
wasn't there?
that's 4 is what I have written down.
It's the Oak Grove Circle, Silver Reef Road,
Oh,
and then Cactus and
Cactus.
the Flats,
Bonanza,
Bonanza Flats.
okay.
I guess you could lump those 2 together,
I did,
Cactus and Flats.
yeah.
Other than doing road, Bonanza, Flat Road to Cactus Lane, are you talking about extending it further too, or just?
Well, people are going up to the cemetery, people need to go up there and put flowers down, and that road needs to be fixed. So that's probably about how far we go up.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, we just need to plan an attack on that, it's not a problem.
We do have some drainage issues, but we're gonna always have that, so I don't know how we're gonna solve that.
Yeah, that's the problem we have over on West Center Street, that we need to address how that drainage comes through there.
It's like we have up here.
Yes. This one up here along Main Street, I'm very supportive of, as long as we can maintain the continuity, I'm very supportive of looking at going through grants, trying to get grants, and some of them are gonna be matching grants, but the town needs to be very proactive on dealing with that.
Well,
Oh, and where we're referring to is on Main Street from the business park here, all the way up to Walton
Right.
Plaza. I think it's important for the
You
public
know-
safety that we maintain and establish an actual sidewalk. And it just makes more sense to be on that side,
Right,
because there are more people that go up to Walton Plaza because of the post office,
right.
mostly at this time, that we really need to establish a good, safe, public pedestrian sidewalk that goes along that Main Street there. It's not gonna be cheap, it's not gonna be
We
free.
just need someplace to put water. The UDOT will pave it, but they don't wanna put in the curb and gutter
Right.
or the sidewalk.
Could the sidewalk be an asphalt sidewalk?
It could,
At
if
least,
that's what,
at least in you know, for the next few years until something else is decided about the project. And
If we went for grant monies, it probably could not. If it was written up in the grant, they would want that sidewalk to be established in concrete. The crucial thing about those grant monies, and we found that out on that stormwater drainage master plan. If we don't follow through and finish up that paperwork, we won't see the monies. I'm in favor of grants, but we really have to be responsible to follow through, carry them out. Okay, was there any more discussion on that item 9D? Okay. Notice we moved the citizen comments down. This agenda, a couple of things that have been added to this or reconstructed were on, you'll see public hearing, action items, and discussion items on each one of them, and then the citizen comments. This was a recommendation from Bob Nicholson on the way that he's seen how other municipalities manage their meetings. And he says, it helps the public to understand when you have on there each time a public hearing, whether, and if there is none, put none. And that helps them to understand, look, there is no public hearing happening tonight, or maybe no action items. Maybe it's only discussion, or that type of, and he recommended that those citizen comment be pushed a little farther down in the agenda. I'm very supportive of still having citizen comments. I think it's a good way to allow the public to interact with these meetings. I mean, we're still a very small town and still should have that informal atmosphere. And so, were there any citizen comments, Bob? Not that I know of.
No,
No one signed up for
we
your.
haven't signed up.
Okay, staff reports. That's where I was gonna plug in those road impact funds, but it was a better place in that discussion item.
I just wanted to thank you for getting the street cleaned up, the leaves, before the next storm.
Yeah, hopefully it will storm. We live in a desert. I say let it storm. I can't think of any other staff reports from the administrative side. I do have another letter here I'd like to read to the council and the citizens. This is dated January 9th. To the citizens of Leeds and Leeds Town Council. With life's ever-changing experiences, every person has decisions to formulate. At this time, I find it necessary to deliver my resignation from the office of mayor for the town of Leeds. I've struggled with this decision. I find it disconcerting with the need to present this acknowledgement. However, with certain personal conditions, I find it to be essential. This action will become effective on February 13th, 2013 at 7 o'clock p.m. This will accommodate a period of time to make necessary steps to fill this position with the least amount of impact to the continuity of this office. It has been an honor to serve the citizens of Leeds. I have had a great opportunity to expand my understanding of government. I will continue to hold tightly to the convictions of responsible government in society. I have and will continue to promote people's constitutional rights and the orderly process of law. I look towards future opportunities to be of service to Leeds as a citizen. I desire to engage myself in future events, programs, or activities that circumstances will afford. Respectfully, Alan Roberts.
I should have said adjourn before he pulled that out of that folder.
So, With no further staff reports, I'm looking for a motion.
I'm not gonna adjourn this, I think we'll just wait till February to.
We didn't bring enough cookies. I guess just a little, I mean, we've gone down this road before, unfortunately, when Hiram resigned. The process that comes into play, ultimately, if the position was vacant at any given time, Frank, you as the mayor pro tem would have to fill that position. The process now starts of individuals to I can't even think of the word, I might just went blank. To give a letter of interest or a letter of desire for that position. And the council would look over those names that came in, and they would have to vote upon those names that came in.
So how does that work? Is that to fill the mayor's spot or fill the council spot?
That fills the mayor's spot. Because any member of the public, including a council member, can make an application for the position.
We had a couple of people last time, citizens that weren't from the council.
And if it happened to be filled by a council member, then that council position would be filled the same way. You would have to accept individuals' desires for that position and run through the process. That's the way the process is. It's very clear on the state law of how you fill those vacancies.
See, it gives me enough time to get a bill passed in the House and Senate for February 15th.
You will be spending a little bit of time up there over the next 30 days, starting towards the end of this month.
Yeah, there could be a bill passed that says that person could be garnished if they didn't fulfill a certain task.
There could be, but I don't think there will
I
be.
know your wife probably wouldn't let me do that, do
I'm looking for an adjournment.
you? Well, I guess what I think, I'd save my words when there's a larger group here, not to disrespect everybody else, but for us to have some more dialogue and talk to you about that, because you've done a great job and a lot of work. So, but I want to save those comments. So, I don't want you to walk away thinking, okay, we're not going to say anything.
No,
Not that three
No.
people here aren't.
it's not over yet, Frank. Today's not the last day.
I know, but I have to deal with all these other things,
Well-
names and budgets
And that you won't be here.
No, it's all like on that Skype.
I'm hoping to, like I mentioned in this meeting, these two drafts that you have before you, I'm pushing very hard to have some action on those in our next meeting. So, it is, the difficult part is continuity, it really is. And it always will be, as elected officials come and go, appointed officials come and go. Continuity is very difficult to keep track of.
Right.
Some notes I made up there. Right there are 4 issues that lack and exist because of a lack of continuity.
Right.
Right there, that are very crucial issues on a lot of direction for the town.
Those are all big items.
I have had, I guess, we can still include this on staff report. I contacted the company that we have funds that we've paid for a codification, and that's sitting right where it left when Fran left, because the codification and that current zoning map, working with
So that
Nicole McDermott.
That company didn't finish the contract?
Well, no, they were waiting for a few clarifications from the town of Leeds.
Oh,
Yeah, the ball's in our court.
I didn't know that.
And the same way with that current zoning map, We have a zoning map that was presented in the general plan. There are some inconsistencies that are there, and if you look at the map that's included there that Form Tomorrow done, it's basically our old map from 1983 that it's just, it's not updated properly. There are that's two examples of things that are just hanging out there, not finished up. Those were two items that specifically were on Fran's list, and of course, the number of clerk recorders that we've gone through in the last year just did not allow her to focus on those, because she would have to fill in and do some training for individuals, new staff. So it does have its challenges. Frank, the ball's in your court. You're always up for
Okay.
adjournment. Nate's not here to,
I know, first did, I guess I'll move to.
okay. We stand adjourned at 8:10.